It was 10 years ago this week that the world of music lost a legend, an R&B drummer who went on to become one of the biggest singing stars in the history of Motown. Our tribute to Marvin Gaye coming up.
Casey's Coast to Coast. Casey's Top 40.
Now, it was 10 years ago this week that the world of music lost a legend, an R&B drummer who went on to become one of the biggest singing stars in the history of Motown.
I've been really trying, baby.
Just like Phil Collins, Marvin Gaye began his musical career not as a singer, but as a drummer. After moving from his home in Washington, D.C. to Chicago, and then in 1960 to Detroit, he was hired by a brand new label just getting off the ground, Motown Records. At Motown, Marvin drummed on hits for the Miracles and then sang backgrounds for the Marvelettes. And when the executives at Motown heard Marvin's distinctive voice, they signed him to a solo recording contract. He had his first chart hit in 1962 with Stubborn Kind of Fella, and scored his first million-selling single, I'll Be Doggone, in 1965. In 1968, Marvin released the classic I Heard It Through the Grapevine, which went on to become the biggest-selling single of Motown's first 20 years. Then, in 71, Marvin Gaye released what most critics consider his finest work, What's Going On, the very first album to combine the great Motown sound with socially conscious lyrics. While Marvin continued to record through the 70s, financial, drug, and tax problems kept dragging him down. In 1979, he fled the USA to avoid the Internal Revenue Service and regroup. And 3 years later, in 1982, he returned to the States with a new attitude and a big new hit, Sexual Healing, a single that earned him the Grammy for Best Male Vocal Performance. Sadly, a few years later, drugs once again took over Marvin's life, and on April 1st, 1984, during a violent, drug-fueled argument, his father shot and killed him just a day before the singer's 45th birthday. Today, 10 years after that tragic death, Marvin Gaye's music lives on, and many of the themes of his lyrics in songs like Mercy, Mercy Me, The Ecology, and What's Going On are as relevant in the 90s as they were when they were written back in the 70s. That's our Casey's Top 40 tribute to one of the legends of music, Marvin Gaye. Now, on with the countdown.
Casey's Top 40.